Welcome back to Dat Build. Today I'm continuing progress, obviously, on my 1999 Porsche Turbo Replica. I'm liking what's going on here. I've got all three sections now removed, so the top, the mid, the bottom really, and the engine of course. So everything is dismantled pretty much down to the bare bones. We nearly have everything in absolute bits and pieces, and then of course we can start fixing things and then rebuilding it. Now, some of you, if you're keen enough to notice, have spotted that the episode last week was a day later. I am going to do that now on purpose moving forward. So release will be on a Sunday for Australia, Saturday for everywhere else obviously. But the reason behind that is just so I've got that extra day so I can do something more, because I am here for that one more extra day. So it just allows me that little bit of extra time, and of course editing and then uploading. So yeah, not that it makes any difference whatsoever. But anyway, moving forward. Today I'm simply going to be cleaning up a bit more of this rear end, putting away some of the stuff, removing the brake cables, etc. and so on, shifter linkage, all that sort of gear basically. I am in the means of talking to a shop, hopefully to get this entire chassis sorted out. I don't know what sort of time period that's going to be. I'm going to actually wait for some news back from them, but it does mean that though once that's sorted, and it may even mean new floor plans. It really just depends on the price point and everything like that. Again, I don't want to go overboard with this build. It's not a real Porsche. It's not a Volkswagen. It's a hack hodgepodge sort of affair. So it is just going to be what it is, simple and clean and drivable. That's pretty much the main aim here. So I'm going to crack on, get all this stuff bagged up, start removing all this. Hopefully the bolts want to cooperate, and then see where we go from there. So we have the rear end mostly sorted now. The primary thing was getting that distribution line off the rear end. Everything else can stay where it is, because the lines that are coming from the drums onto the swing arms, they're just going to stay there anyway, because the new setup will replace all of that regardless. So I don't need to worry about removing any of that. That can remain. Everything else, the shock absorbers, all that sort of thing, for now, it's just going to come out more or less in one great big piece. So I don't need to worry about that in the future. I can just leave that alone. All I really need to do now is just sort out these cables here. So I've got the clutch cable and the shifter mechanism, and also the park. I haven't actually disconnected the park brake, so that's another thing I need to do as well. And then of course these, which use to control the heater flaps, so I have to remove them at the same time, just so I can clean them right out. The cables need to be replaced. I'd rather do that, especially the clutch cable and the accelerator cable, just rather get that sorted. Shifter linkage, I don't think that's an issue, but I will be changing this entire assembly here to something else. The problem I had was when I had this all the way forward in either first or third gear, my hand would actually hit the dashboard. So that was no good. That was never going to work. I do need basically one that's going to angle back a bit more. The park brake shouldn't really be an issue, even if I'm in reverse. I've still got enough clearance there. Even if it's a bit, further back, I think I should be okay. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Heaps of other people run a shortened or angled shifter. Now on to actually removing this in the first place. As always, this thing's already been hacked apart, and well, I've got two different size sockets here. So one nearly imperial and one essentially metric. I have no idea what's under here. I've never moved this before, and I've never actually moved a VW shifter before. So I've no idea what I'm doing, and that's the way you learn. You just dig into it. So try it out. Not sure we're going, yep, that's right. Oh. I can't imagine it's going to be too difficult, probably just a linkage, a little hook, something like that, same as the clutch cable. That's a really long thread. I don't think either of these bolts are the originals that should be in here because they're just recessed in too far. There's no space around it for better surface area. Whatever. Again, all the bolts getting replaced anyway. I've already skinned my knuckles enough this time around, so there we go. Right. Yep, okay. Already wants to come out, which is a good sign. Come on, it doesn't need to be this long. I'm trying to get to the bottom of the floor or something. Thank you. Right, so what do we got? We have, oh okay, that's easy. It's just a little ball in a cup sort of situation. So that's nice and simple. Well, it's going to be really easy to change out then for the future ones. So that's literally a bolting application. That's brilliant. Right, so, happened again. We have the park brake assembly now off. We have both the heater control levers off. The park brake assembly now has to go through the routing pipes that then lead to the rear drums. So I think, again, I haven't looked any of this up and I'd rather just wing it. I like kind of exploring and getting to know the car personally as opposed to just looking things up. I've had to do that a couple of times, but I like to actually figure it out for myself. I think the pipes may be able to fit these through, maybe not. The other end on the drum assembly itself, it looks like it has a spring mechanism of sorts, so I don't really know how that comes apart. Okay, delve a bit further, see what we find, but at least now these are removed, this cable, it's surprisingly not too bad. I mean, I expected a much more rustier sort of effect going on, but the cable itself is pretty clean, so that's kind of good news actually. Same for the other one, it's very much the same. It's interesting though, and it's honestly a little hard to show you, so I won't bother actually giving you a close-up, but both the pipes that run to those heater flaps are on this side, not one on one side, one on the other, and then exchanged. Even though when they're on that side, they do split off to either swing arm, well, strut arm from the, I don't know what you call them. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's a little odd because of the way it's set up, but I'm kind of wondering if it simply wasn't routed properly. There's another maybe bracket it goes around, or I don't know, but anyway, they're out now. That's another problem in the future for me to fix, putting them back in. I'm sure that'll be just as fun. I do want to figure out though a way of ensuring that rust can't actually get through there easily, and it's obviously not that big of an issue. Again, these are clean. I'd just rather ensure that in the future it's not going to be a problem. So maybe inject some grease in there. I don't know, I'll talk to the VW guys, see what they recommend. But yeah, I mean, moving forward, I suppose look at the brake. And tomorrow. So I've actually had a fresh set of eyes installed, and I luckily have found a bolt just behind the drum here. So the entire cable, this whole run, actually can be removed. There's nothing in here to undo, that is all part of it. So luckily enough, shifter, and hopefully this doesn't put up a fight. Am I going the right way? Yep, I'm going the right way. Let's see what happens. Probably not to move this. Whee! Don't know what bolt this is, but socket's not really sitting well, but it's doing its job. That's the main thing. Come on, can't be 10 years long. Hoping now this whole cable, here we go. Yes. Oh, okay, even that clip comes out separately. Weird. Done. So now, haha! One down, one to go. Clutch cable. That is the last one now. And as from yesterday, the problem I have is that the external of the cable will not fit through the outer casing. As I discovered with the brake cables, I didn't need to actually do that because there was a bolt. In this situation though, that channel that it runs through is a part of the body, a part of the structure, it's in there. It's not coming out. So I've actually got to get that cable through. However, the end piece is a part of the cable, and this piece won't pull through the casing. Come on, come on, get out. Yes, haha. Showed you. Sometimes you just need to tell them who's boss. You need to hammer it into them. Yes, I decided to try my luck and literally hammer out the cable from the inner casing. Wasn't fun, and it eventually worked. That's the main thing. So now hopefully I shouldn't have any issues feeding the entire thing, because that length there is pretty much what I need to get to the front. I've just got to inspect and make sure that it's going to make its way there, but it does annoyingly mean that I peel back that section of body for no reason at all. Again, they're going to put a patch over it, so it's going to be fine. It's not an issue. I'm not worried about that. At the end of the day, I just needed to actually see if I could do that. In the future, it's just not worth it because it's still so far away, and the cable itself, you just guide it through. You don't really need to have that inspection port. It kind of makes it easier, but it's not needed. It's really not needed. So I'm done with that now. I'm just going to pull this through, and then the only thing left is the brake line, and that's going to be nice and easy. No, wait, I can't. The pedal assembly is in the way. Oh. So I push the cable through on the other end now, all the way back in. I can see straight away the cable is actually longer than the body. It nearly reaches from the very front all the way to the back, which is great. So just got to reach in and find it. There we go. Yeah. That feeling you get when, I'm sure some of you kind of get what I'm saying right now. It's really dirty too. There we go. Whee. Nice. There we go. Okay. Success on that one. I'm gonna wash my hands again. That is me done. I ended up doing a bit of a search and discovered that there are tabs through the tunnel which secure the fuel line down. One of them is accessible right there. The other one within the actual tunnel itself where there is no access port, and then another one towards where the pedal assembly is, which maybe that cutout would actually help me with, but then I still have nothing here. So I'm going to speak to the VW people once more. I may make another access port. I don't really want to. The other side of that is I could essentially just have them do it, but that would cost me more. Realistically, I think because the inside of the tunnel is quite corroded, they're going to have to go a step further with my pan fix, because I can't just have the side pieces replaced and the thing be blasted externally. The inside of the well needs to be sorted out also. With that being the case, the underside belly needs to be split open and then work progress there. So I think more than likely I'll have them do the fuel line. I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to do as much as possible, but there are some things, welding for argument's sake, I just can't do. So therefore, I'm just going to leave that one. I've got all this rear end now disassembled. Brake line will be next. The pedal assembly is going to be in the next episode, or in the future anyway. That will be sorted. I have a plan there. Not ideal, but that's what I'm going to do. So that's it. That's this episode. So thank you very much for joining me as always. I am worn out. Not even the start of the day. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment below, etc. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbour that if he's ever going for continuity, don't get a shave and a haircut halfway through the episode. Anyway guys, until next time, cheers.